So greetings everybody, here I am again with my trusty Peppa Pig advent calendar, inspired by our Prime Minister after his CBI speech, where I was pretty critical of his performance. I decided that I better turn the cards on myself, and during each day of December I would reflect on things that I've learnt that will help make me a better leader. And I'm doing it with the trusty aid of my Peppa Pig advent calendar. I have to really focus on saying Peppa Pig. It's like one of those kind of tongue twisters, isn't it? And I keep tripping myself up on it. So where did I get to in day 6 through to day 10 as it starts to get a bit more festive and Christmassy in here? As you can see, I've blinged the shed up a little bit. So the first thing, and I think this has really been relevant over the first few days of December, is the leader sets the tone. If we look at everything that's been going on in Downing Street with the parties and some of the other allegations that have been flying around, the leader, in this particular case the Prime Minister, may try and distance himself from some of that, but as a leader it's our behaviour that is watched by others, and that will set the tone as to what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. So however much Mr Johnson tries to step away from it and let others fall for it and take the blame, he has created an environment where those sort of things were acceptable, and it was acceptable to break the rules and push the rules and bend the rules and to do some of the things that happened. So as a leader you can't shirk responsibility. You do set the tone, and the way you behave will send out signals to all of your organisations. So remember, you're always being watched. And none of us are perfect, which leads me to my second learning, which is we do all make mistakes. We have bad days. We're human beings. But the really crucial thing is accepting that and learning from it. And that brings me swiftly on to my third reflection, which was that honesty is absolutely the best policy in those situations. But actually, to be fair, it's the best policy, full stop. And it's remarkably easy to be honest and to do the right thing if you look at the big picture and really act in the best interests of whatever it is you're trying to achieve, the organisation's objective, looking after your people, whatever it is. So try to be honest. And certainly I found it got easier during the pandemic to be really honest about the difficulties we were in, when things were going well, when they weren't going well, and just treat people as adults and bring them into the loop. The fourth one, slightly changing tack of this little batch of my reflections, came to me when I was talking to a group of people fairly early on in their career at the beginning of this month. And that was that adversity is a gift. So I've more recently been encouraged to talk very openly about my background and my history and some of the things that happened to me in the course of my life. And people often say to me, well, you've had a tough time, or, you know, that must have been really difficult. Personally, I don't look at it like that. I never have, because that's my lived experience, and I guess that's what I'm used to. I actually think I've benefited from some of the difficulties that I've faced. And I would say to anybody who's been through a tough time, use it as rocket fuel. If you can take the positives from adversity and use it to spur you on, it builds resilience, it builds experience. And I think people that have been through things and survived it have a whole load of extra stuff they can bring to the party. So adversity is a gift. And the final reflection of this little batch, I was reminded recently by something that I've talked about a lot in my own business, which is murmurations, starling murmurations. And I won't go into it now because we don't have time, but I've had a couple of experiences, one of them quite recently again, where murmurations and the thought of it have played a seminal role in decisions and things that I'm doing. And if you're not aware of starling murmurations, just before dusk, sometimes tens of thousands of starlings form beautiful, spectacular patterns together, working somehow in amazing unison to create something far bigger than they could possibly create themselves. But they're all still individuals, and they're all still doing their own thing within that fantastic formation. And for me, the analogy there is it shows you the absolute power of organisations that are united behind a shared vision and yet still have individuals and autonomy within that. And I think the ultimate thing of any leader is to create an environment where both of those things can happen in unison. So that was a very timely remembering for me about murmurations. So that was where I got to with my kind of second week of stuffing myself with very cheap chocolate from the garage. And we'll see what Peppa Pig brings when I open the next batch next week.